guys were in the game at several points despite a final score. They seemed to change on a few critical situations that could have gone either way. What are your thoughts on the momentum swings in this game?
I think you're exactly right. The end of the half, we have the ball, and we're moving it. We throw a deep ball. We don't make the play on it. It's either going to be an explosive play or maybe a touchdown. So we punt it, and then they have the ball backed up. Can you turn that down? They have the ball backed up, and we get them in a third down, and the QB scrambles, and we missed one of maybe 5 or 7 tackles on that drive. On a 3rd and 5, I think it was. And then they had a 4th and 2. We missed a tackle on 4th and 2. We get a roughing penalty. They score a touchdown. When you come out at the start of the second half, we get them in 3rd down, and they throw a fade. I mean, not a near sideline, far sideline fade. Down the field, completion, pretty low percentage throw. We hold them to a field goal, and then we get the ball back, and we get the sack, fumble, touchdown. So the end of the half, the start of the second half, and then the end of the game, I mean, it's 7 minutes and 50 seconds, give or take, and we have a field goal attempt to make it a 1-score game. We don't connect on the field goal attempt, so then the defense plays it basically in 0. We have a misfit, and the ball goes for whatever, 70. So the entire complexion changes. If we can find a way to get points on that drive, you kick the ball off, you play traditional defense, get a stop, now you got the ball back at the end of the game with a chance to tie. So yeah, there's 4 or 5 plays in this game that just totally swing it. And we haven't capitalized on momentum well enough, and we didn't play through the hard times and perseverance that's needed in those moments. And I don't think it's guys not trying, but that's how you win. I mean, effort is a prerequisite, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. You have to give effort, but we got to produce in those moments. So that's how the game went.
Other questions in the room?
Coach Doug Parrish, football organically. In the beginning of the game, there was a few mishaps in terms of the penalties, and kept pushing us back, and the penalties were just atrocious. I mean, and then on the flip side, I noticed that when Utah got the ball, there was a hold that was not called. So I was just like, that is a part of the whole momentum issue too. And I'm like, how do you keep your guys focused when it comes to just, dealing with the refs and how they make the calls and how the momentum swings?
I think the officials have an incredibly hard job. I think they do the best that they can. Are they perfect? Probably not, but I didn't look at this game in that way. We have to do a better job of not giving them a reason to throw the flag, where our hands are when we're blocking. I mean, the opening kickoff return, we have a holding call, and then we have a procedure. I think the first 2 plays were penalties. We can't hit the quarterback high late, so we got to control what we can control, but we don't really get concerned with the officiating, and I don't comment on it.
Yeah.
I think overwhelmingly they try to do a good job, and I think the crews do a pretty good job in our conference. You just want consistency, so that's it.
Sorry, Coach, but it didn't interject, but it didn't follow up. What was your thoughts on the timeout that was called, when the time was going out at the end of the first half?
Which one?
4th and 1.
I want to force, it was actually going to be 4th and 2, so they respotted it, and then you force them to make a decision. So either way, they're going to go for it, and then they have the time they need to continue to move down the field. They still had timeouts left. So if you don't call the timeout, and they still go for it, they still have enough time and timeouts to continue the drive. So it's not like we did them a huge favor. I wanted to stop them, and I'm going to be honest, we should have stopped him. We had a free guy on the edge. We didn't make the play. And if we get the ball with 1:28, I believe was the time on the clock, if we get the stop, now we have a chance to go get points at the end of the half because they get the ball at the start of the second half. So that was my thinking. And, yeah, I mean, you could say don't call it. I can understand the critique, but that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. So,
Coach, it wasn't 52 points, and there were some other circumstances, but it's given them 34 to a team that hasn't scored a lot this year, still alarming to you.
We have to tackle better. Yeah. A alarming. I mean, it's about winning. So yeah, we need to play better everywhere so we can win, and the scores will be better.
Do you feel like there was progress from last week, though?
If you're going to play good defense, you have to tackle. There's no magic calls that the ball carrier just goes on the ground. They were more physical than us up front most of the day. We missed, I don't know how many tackles in critical downs. So if we tackle them on 3rd and 5, into the second quarter, and they don't score on that drive, then yeah, maybe there's one touchdown, or the 4th and 2, or late in the game. So then you're saying, okay, well, it's 24 bad. Is the sack turnover, if we can force a field goal there? Like, so then what's the number where you decide? It wasn't enough. The defense didn't play well enough. We gave up too many points for us to win today. And I don't know that the offense or the special teams did enough for us to win today either. So it's alarming in the sense that we need to play better football all around.
Russian attack made a huge difference in this game. We talked about the season 9, 317, 66. You guys, why do you think they were able to be so effective with their Russian attack? Why do you think they were so effective in stopping you guys?
Physical, size, strength. We need to get bigger and stronger. They moved us off the ball on defense, and we had a harder time blocking them one-on-one. Blocking, tackling, strength, size, all that. That's why I think the rushing stats look like they did.
Okay, anybody else in the room? Okay, I'm going to ask a couple questions from Zoom, starting with Jake Curtis. Can you talk about Fernando's injury status and how well you think he played?
I don't know. I don't have an update yet from the trainers. Hopefully it's nothing too severe. We'll find out. I think he plays very competitively. I think he brings energy. I think the tip ball interception, it was a 3rd down play in the 2nd quarter. And they either zeroed us or it was a fire zone. Can't quite remember. They tipped the ball. The D lineman tipped the ball. If that ball's not tipped, I think it's a big play, explosive. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. So he put the ball where it needed to be. He put the ball later in the 2nd quarter on a rail route in a really good spot. We didn't make the play. I threw a great ball to Taj for the touchdown. I think he competed really hard, and probably I'm sure there's some plays he'd like to have back, but I think he competed well, and he's going to get better the more he plays. That's what I think.
From Mia Watchtower with the Daily Cow, how will the team prepare for USC during the bye week?
Well, we'll practice. We'll go back to work on Monday, and we'll need to make sure that we're getting the guys that are banged up treatment and taking care of their bodies, and also practicing because we have to improve. We can't, obviously this is not good enough. So we'll start some USC prep during the week next week, and we'll also get developmental work. Some of the guys that played today will need to play a little more. I think Kedu Lave flashed today. That was obvious. Guy that made some tackles. Get him some more work. And some of these other guys that are going to need to help us, not only on offense and defense, but on special teams. I thought it showed up in the cover units. We need guys to step up there because we're banged up. I'm sure a lot of people are. So got to get them back and then get these other guys some valuable reps so they can help us down the stretch.
From Jeff Ferrado, how disappointing was it that you couldn't run the ball better after being so effective last weekend and most of the season?
Yeah, we would like to have run it better. So the offense obviously is more productive when you're not one-dimensional and you run it more efficiently. I think not all teams are the same either. I think we got to recognize that. The team we played today is not some of the teams we played earlier. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to produce regardless of who's out there. We've got to give those guys credit because they are big and physical. They played what we thought they would play, schematically, and they do a good job with it. But we had a harder time moving them than they did moving us.
For Matt Moreno with Rivals, how would you assess Cal's defensive performance today? How did Jackson Sermon's absence from the field affect the defense?
Well, our defense wasn't good enough today. Again, we got moved off the ball just too often, and the tackling, the missed tackles. And then the runs that just bled, you know, the 5 and 6 yard run that just bled because we were getting moved. So not good enough. You know, we had a real hard time tackling the quarterback. A number of times we had a chance to make a play, and we had a hard time tackling the quarterback, which is unfortunate. So Jackson Sermon, he'll be out for the season, unfortunately. I really feel for Jack. He works really, really hard, and he loves football. He's a really important member of our team. Unfortunately, he won't be able to play anymore. So there's some other guys that, you know, his number got called. Hunter and Blake, who went down. Cade, who I thought flashed. So does it impact things? Yeah, when your captains go down, it does. But what are you going to do? I mean, the next guy's got to step up, and nobody's feeling sorry for us. We got a game in 2 weeks.